Hey family, how you guys doing? Welcome to Phie.Love Intuitive Conversations. I hope you guys are good. Yeah. If you like my content, please do like, share, and subscribe. And yeah, if there's any negativity, if there's any hate, please do keep that on your side of the street, okay? Won't be acknowledged. So, family, in this video, I don't think it'll be a long one. In this video, I'm being guided by Spirit to talk about us waiting, okay? A few videos ago, I spoke about us being in the energy of waiting, but this one we're focusing on taking the decision to wait, okay? One of the things that people and their egos don't like to hear is that they're not ready, okay? That it's not time, okay? And that they're not yet in alignment with something that maybe, their general programming will say you are ready, okay? Just because you have the money and just because something seems like it's physically possible and available, for you to do in your physical realm and your experience doesn't always mean that you're ready. And we get ourselves into situations, and then in hindsight, once we're in the thick of things, we look back and we actually learn the lesson now, right? And realize that, you know what, I wish I would have waited. I don't think I was ready. I could have done this differently. It wasn't the right time for me to do this. Could be a number of things, right? When you're being led by your ego, when you're being led by your lack, when you're being led by impatience, when you're being led by instant gratification, when you're being led by peer pressure, waiting and considering yourself, right, and other realities around your main focus of getting into something, doing something, taking a decision, when that becomes the main focus and it's being encouraged and driven by your, and pressured by your lack programming, by your impulsivity, by all kinds of things under the sun that drive you into making, decisions that aren't really to your highest good, okay, and for your highest benefit, or for the highest benefit of you and those around you, right? All of those feelings and emotions and wanting to get ahead, wanting to be a part, not, being under the illusion of, not taking a decision now might have you falling behind or have you be excluded, or whatever it might be. However, what I'm saying, it, whichever aspect it is resonating for you, okay? That's the aspect that Spirit wants you to kind of highlight and focus on within yourself. Consider, ask yourself, what's driving me to want to make a decision right now? Am I ready? If someone told me that I wasn't ready, be a bit self-reflective, right? If someone told me that I wasn't ready for something that I want to decide on right now, what could the possible reasons be? If I was my advisor, and as an advisor, I had an outside perspective to my situation, and I'm not in the situation, I'm not the one who has to make the decision, I'm not the one who's being influenced by, my need to have it right now, I'm not the one who's being influenced by my lack, I'm not the one who's being influenced by loneliness, I'm not the one who's being influenced by feeling left out. I'm not the one who's being influenced by the illusion of, time pressure, all of these things. If I was my own advisor and I was on the outside of myself and I told myself that I wasn't ready for this, what would my reasons be? Can I see myself accurately as somebody on the outside of myself? And can I see my own situation in its entirety? And can I reason with myself and give myself advice if the advice was that I should wait and I'm not ready? Is it getting into a relationship? Is it moving in with somebody? Is it, considering to have a child with someone? What are my reasons around having a child with someone? Are they grounded, or is my reasoning being influenced by trying to restrict somebody, trying to hold somebody captive, trying to secure money for myself, trying to find stability? Am I considering other people? Or am I only considering what I believe and think that I want right now? Am I considering my situation in its entirety and how it might affect others in its entirety? Today, tomorrow, 3, 4, 5 years from now? Or am I making short-sighted decisions? Is my decision, is my impulsivity right now fueled and being aggravated by programmings and things that I've gotten myself wrapped up in on social media and online? Things that I was programmed by that, have me not realizing that I'm not grounded, I'm not actually operating in reality, I'm not considering the bigger picture, I'm not prioritizing myself. So, relationships, maybe you're thinking about moving in with somebody. Maybe it's starting a family. Maybe it's getting married. Maybe it's making a big purchase that requires you to go into a big loan, right? Or to get yourself tied up with the bank, owing, and having your future now restricted and your decisions and your movement restricted because you're now tied to a piece of paper and an institution or a person. The divine doesn't like us tying ourselves to people and things and institutions via contracts, okay? That's you immediately, willingly, blindly, driven by all the other things in your life, be it lack, be it insecurity, be it fear, be it thinking that you're running out of time. All these things, ungrounded things, that push you into binding yourself and putting yourself into situations that have really long-lasting impacts on you and your decisions and your movement and your sovereignty in the future. After you bind yourself to things, institutions, and people, and contracts. Are you going into a big loan? Are you feeling pressure to go into a home loan that is pressure to go into a home loan because of somebody else on the outside of you? Pressure to go into a home loan because you're afraid of what your outside world might think about where you are in your life? Be in a place of self-love and, consider things, okay? Make decisions from a mature, grounded place that considers you and your situation around you in its entirety. Make decisions that down the line you can be like, phew, I'm glad I didn't do that. not that down the line you're stressed, your soul is tired, your mind is tired, you can't make it, you feel like you can't make a decision, you have other things and people dictating things to you, restricting your movement, or also your own belief systems around the things you've bound yourself to, restricting your movement and limiting the choices that you think you have in your life. Okay? Sometimes you're just not ready. If it's a relationship, if it's a family dynamic, if it's moving in with somebody, if it's whatever it is, wherever you are in your life right now, and there are certain decisions, if this video's come your way and you're in the middle of making certain decisions, the divine has guided you here to take a moment to think about it. Slow down. Okay? Slow down and investigate, what is it that I'm being guided by right now? What is motivating me? What is plaguing my mind? Why am I willing to compromise my sovereignty, my freedom, and my ability to make decisions for, surface level things that in the end, only satisfy an ego issue, only satisfy an illusion, that give me bigger problems in the long run. Okay? It is not cool to restrict men or women with children. I don't know why I'm feeling like I need to stress that. It is not a grounded, reasonable thing to do. If you're thinking about doing that, you have a lot of growing to do. If you've done that, you have a lot of growing to do. Your reasoning is not where it needs to be. You're not considering yourself, you're not considering other people, and you're not considering the children that you're bringing into this world. Because all your decisions clearly are ego-driven. They're underdeveloped. And they're going to cause imbalance and stress for you in your future. And a whole lot of stress and chaos, okay, between you and the people that you're binding yourself to. Things like money, things like stability, those are things that come naturally when you take the time to work on yourself. If you're thinking like that, if you're rushing into a relationship, if you're rushing to move in with somebody because of whatever it might be, and the divine wants you to wait, take some time. The divine wants you to work on yourself. If you're rushing, if you have an okay situation at home and you're still living with your parents, don't rush to leave your parents' house. If you're blessed with a situation and you have parents who are still willing to look after you, who are willing to provide you with your basic needs, willing to see you through, give you the support that you need while you build yourself up, and you can save and you can do whatever it is that you want to do. Allow yourself to grow and expand and explore. Take the opportunity to do that. Okay, not everybody is blessed with situations where their parents are, balanced and willing to also support in those ways. A lot of people have toxic family dynamics that they, find themselves needing to get out of as soon as they possibly are able to or can. So if you're one of those people who, you can bear living with your family, it is not a problem. Don't rush to leave home. Okay? Don't put yourself into a position where you're going to end up becoming a burden unnecessarily to others because you struggle being on your own feet. It is not easy out there if you haven't built your own stability. And you don't have to be an I don't even know why I'm saying this, But you don't have to be an extra cost on family members when you have a stable option, a supportive option, an option that provides you your basic needs and whatever it is that you may want, well, not maybe always want, but whatever you need, right? That might not always be so readily available to others who don't have that, how to say, that advantage or that opportunity. Be grateful. Bring your ego down. Don't be pressured by things on the outside. Don't think that, you know, you need to be, that don't think it means you're a grown-up because you've left your parents' house. If you're a late teenager, if you're in your 20s, your early 20s, your mid 20s, even up into your 30s, guys. Okay? If you can be comfortable at home and be supportive with your family at home and settle and build yourself, do that. Okay? You worry about yourself, don't care about what others say out there. You'll have conversations with other people as well, and they'll tell you too. Some of them wish that they would have stayed at home longer, wish that they had the opportunity or took the opportunity to stay at home longer, because things would have probably been easier. They would have been able to save. They would have been able, by step by step, get themselves on their feet. Not get themselves stuck in credit card, debt and home loans and car loans and all these things that, come and that people force themselves into and bind themselves into once they, have to keep themselves afloat in the outside world away from the family home. So please, if you have a family that's, supportive and that you can bear to live with, and that's understanding, don't be in a rush to leave home. Don't. So, yeah. Double think what you're doing. Spirit wants you to wait. Okay? Triple think what you're doing. And recognize that if you're being resistant to being told by the divine, you're being resistant to the way things are feeling and looking blocked on the outside for you to move forward. It could be spirit telling you, the divine blocking things in your blocking your way, okay, making things difficult to happen or causing things to fall through because they want you to wait, and they're telling you that you're not ready. If it's marriage, if it's children, if it's moving in with somebody, you might still have some internal work that you need to do before you start becoming nightmares to one another. If you haven't gotten to the point of working on your emotional maturity, it might not be the right time. If you're making decisions that are based off of, your honeymoon phase emotions and the early thrill of relationships and whatever it might be, take some time, wait it out, okay? Wait things out with your relationships until you both get to a point where you're acting out of your own natural states and not out of the state where you're both trying to keep putting the best foot forward, both trying to want to impress one another. If you're in a relationship that hasn't been based on friendship and hasn't gradually come together where you've learned one another in your own natural states of being, pause and wait. Okay, don't rush. Don't just automatically think you know somebody because you think that you're getting old, because you think you're going to be judged, because you think that your family wants you to have kids now, wants you to get married now. No, don't make those decisions based on all of those ungrounded things. Because in the end, you're the one who's going to have to deal with the consequences of your actions and your decisions, right? You're going to have to live out the consequences of having to pay out and commit to a loan, or to your credit card debt, or to whatever it might be. You're having kids with men to restrict them. You're going to have to live out whatever consequences come with that, because you're binding yourself to people who are not meant to be in your life story. You're being driven by things, by greed, by finances, by the material aspects of life. Be real with yourself, and also recognize when these are the things that are motivating you. These are the things that are driving you and your decisions and your wants and your impulsivity and need for instant gratification. Okay? Take some time, breathe. You're not running out of time. Everything around you is fine. Ask the divine, ask God, ask the Most High to guide you. Ask them to settle your heart, to settle your mind, and help you make decisions that are clear. Ask them to help you with patience and clarity and what your next step forward should be. And if maybe you're just a little distracted right now and need to be redirected onto where you should be focusing, even if it means taking some time for yourself, focusing on your own personal development. You're not ready for a relationship if you're fiending for it. And a divine relationship falls into your life naturally when you're ready. As I've said before, the divine prepares you for the relationships they bring into your life. Relationships of chaos, misalignment, stress and strife, and cycles of bullshit just constantly happening, and it's 5 days, 2 weeks of peace, and you're back into the same cycles. Those are not divine relationships. Those are lesson mates. And because you're acting out of impulsivity, you find yourself binding yourself to lesson mates who should actually just be that, a lesson and something that you move on from. A divine relationship will happen once you yourself, in your own experience, are aware and know that I've been put through a process of cleansing. I've been put through a process of facing myself. I've been put through a process of learning what it means to be disciplined and have self-control and be self-aware. I've been put through a process that allows me to lower my ego enough so I'm able to listen and understand. I've been put through, a process with the divine that allows me to also be impartial. All of this takes time. All of this is what you learn as you grow and move along in life. But the programming and the lack and with the peer pressure and all these things that the system programs into you and makes you believe that you need now, and makes you believe that you're running out of time, and makes you believe that you're not a something or a somebody in society if you don't have these things. Make you throw all the basics out the window and put the things that you should be placing the most value on to the bottom of the list. To the bottom of what should be prioritized. All these things you will learn within your experience of growth and build within yourself as you become and embody these things, not to be performative about them, but to embody them, to have them be your being, right? These are the things that once you are it, once it's something that is you, you're also able to, see it in somebody else and allow the right people in and keep the wrong people out. So make sure that you're not being short-sighted. Make sure that you're thinking things through and you're considering everything beside the friends, okay, beside the money, beside the image, beside the roles and whatever it is that you're being performative about, or in denial about the fact that you're being performative about in your life. Ground yourself, breathe. Don't let your linear and limited mind set you up for a life and decisions and a timeline or trajectory that is going to be unnecessarily difficult. The decisions you make now and the decisions you make today really do have an impact on what you are going to be experiencing down the line in the future. Okay, so just a little pep talk, I guess. Anyway, I'm gonna pull a card. I'll stop there. I'm gonna pull a card and see what Spirit has to support our conversation, and I'll wrap up the video. Okay. I'm gonna pull today from Ascendant Masters, okay, by Doreen Virtue, and see what Spirit has to support our conversation, or give somebody who's watching our video a nudge in a specific direction. Okay. Let's see. Spirit, may I please have one card? I'm being told to go again. No? Keep it. Okay. Well, what I got here was father, husband, brother, son. So, take charge of your own life. Okay. This is you recognizing that you always have the option, and you don't have to put yourself into situations where you end up turning yourself into a victim of your own choices and decisions, because you haven't learned to look at yourself and regulate yourself and understand, you know, who you are when you're exercising self-control, and who you are when you're not in a place of self-control and awareness. Self-control means that you have patience, means that you're able to wait, means that you're able to recognize what you're thinking, what you're feeling, and willing to take a look at your situation in its entirety before you take a decision. Willing to make the sacrifice of now for the benefit of, you know, the long term, for the benefit of the bigger picture, for the benefit of the higher perspective, right? That big purchase, that loan that you're about to get into, I promise you, a year from now, you know, you'll realize, or start saying to yourself, you know, maybe I could have done without. Maybe I could have gone a bit cheaper. Maybe I should have waited. Maybe I would have found another deal. Maybe I could have made a different plan. Maybe I'm just, you know, being taken by propaganda that I've been seeded and fed with online for some time, that now it's, you know, it's gotten to the point of being able to influence my pocket and my stability and my cash flow in the future. I'm willing to compromise and sacrifice my cash flow, my income, and my stability for something that, you know, might not even mean anything to me. So, might not mean anything to me after some time. So, you know, just reason with yourself and overcome the emotions and the thoughts and the feelings of now. Okay. You don't have to act on everything that you feel and think right now. And if it's emotional, you shouldn't be acting on it. If it's impulsive, if it's being pressured or influenced from something on the outside, you need to observe it. Don't act on it. Be in charge. Okay. So the Ascendant Master here is Osiris. Father, husband, brother, son. Let's see what the book has to say. Okay. And by exercising your self-control, okay, you become the emperor. You become the person in charge in your life. Okay. This is also the emperor card. If you go into the tarot deck, this is also the emperor card. So you then move into a place of stability. You move into a place and you're somebody who weighs their options, right? Who weighs the cost and the benefit in a balanced way. Father, husband, brother, son. I got it. The card says, this situation involves a significant man in your life. Your new relationship with men are Your new relationships with men are affected by your old relationships with your father, ex-husband, boyfriend, brother, son, or other males. I think that's a nice point to put a little bit of self-reflection on, right? For men and women. This is a perfect time for you to heal and release any old wounds connected to men in your life. God and the Ascendant Masters will support you as you focus on letting go of old toxins such as anger, blame, or guilt. This clearing process opens up the way for healthy relationships with men and with your own male energy. So yeah, ladies, think a few times over, okay, if you're ready to move in, if you're ready for that relationship, if you're considering putting a baby onto somebody, you need to go within first, okay, and analyze your reasoning. Additional meanings for this card. You have just met or are about to meet a significant male partner. Spirit might be preparing you for the right person to come into your life. Wait. Your present relationships improve as you feel your feelings about your father. As you heal your feelings about your father. A male deceased loved one is sending I love yous from heaven. Balance your male and female energy by practicing both giving and receiving daily. Right? And that doesn't mean materially. So that's what I have for this video, family. I hope it's resonated, I hope it's helped out, and I hope it's engaged a little bit of reflection and, got the message across for you to wait. And, yeah, okay. I'll see you in the next video, family. Okay, bye.